In this video, I'm going to explain to you how to use the stats calculator to find binomial probabilities. Now, if you watch the lesson all the way through, you'll probably find that calculating these with the calculator is rather difficult. But I designed the stats calculator with binomial probability distributions in mind to make it as easy as possible to come up with these values. So, to get to binomial distributions in the stats calculator, all you need to do is come over to the distributions menu. As you hover over, this menu should just pop up, and then come down to the end, which is binomial. Now, what you're going to see is a histogram based off of a binomial distribution with some default values. In this case, I have the default value of 8 for n, and p is 0.75. There are some different modes that you can use. This would be the area between two values, the area to the left, area to the right, and area equals. Area to the left of a value, that is equivalent in operation to binom CDF in the calculator. And then x equals a value, that is equivalent to the operation of binom PDF in the calculator. Now, let's see how we can answer some questions using this. A certain type of cellular phone has multiple color options, but 38% of consumers purchase the silver model. If a random sample of 8 owners of this kind of phone is randomly selected, find the probability that exactly 2 own silver phones. Now, you could, in fact, use the x equals mode. And then all you really have to do is make sure n and p are set to the values given in the problem. So n is 8. We have 8 people in our group. The probability of success is 0.38. So just type that in and you can just press enter and it will update the graph for you. All right, so as you move this dot, which is one way of calculating probabilities, just set the dot to the value that you want. And so the height of this bar is the binomial probability that you're looking for. And so the height is calculated and told to you right down here. So the height of this bar is 0.2297. So if we did this to 4 decimals, that would be the answer. You could also just type in that you want x to be equal to 2 and then press enter and it would do the same thing. Alternatively, you can always use this. You don't have to use these modes down here. You can always use this between mode. And what it does is it gives you a minimum and maximum value to work with. And if you just want one value to be output, you just set the minimum and maximum to be set to the same thing. You still get the same answer. That's the answer to the first. Find the probability that at most 5 own silver phones. So if it's at most, then you just need to ask yourself, is this going to be, greater than 5, less than 5, and does it include 5? So if it's at most, it's going to be less than 5. So all you really need to do is just, if you're in this between mode, just put one dot down here at 0 because you want to start at 0, and then go take the other dot up to the value in question. Because if it's at most 5, it would still include 5. And so this number right here is the sum of the heights of all these bars together. So it's calculating the area between 0 and 5 for you. So 0.9615. And that's your answer. Now, if you wanted to use this mode right here with just one input, that's fine. But really, the between mode is all you ever really need. Find the probability that more than 5 own silver phones. Okay, so this time if it's more than 5, it's going to be values that are greater than 5, so I need to move my maximum dot up to 8, which is the maximum value in the table. And then the question is, does more than 5 include 5, or should I actually start at 6? Well, if it's more than 5, that's not going to include, so I need to actually move up to 6, and then the height of these 3 bars together, that sum right there is 0.0385. And that's your answer to that question. Then find the probability that at least 3 own silver phones. So for at least 3, you just have to ask yourself again, is this values that are less than 3, greater than 3, and does it include 3. So if it's at least 3, it should be 3 or more, so that would be greater than 3, but also including. So I need to have one dot at 3, the other dot over here at the maximum value, and this output is that at least probability, so 0.6415. Now, that's how we use the stats calculator to answer our questions, and that's pretty straightforward. As you increase the value of n, I think around 50 or so, let's take a look. No, it still gets 50, maybe 60. Let's jump all the way to 100. Okay, at some point it doesn't draw the bars. It's just there's too many bars to draw, and it can slow down on some computers. But you still are able to move the dots around. But as you get more and more dots, like if you put 200-300 along this axis, it might be hard to get your mouse resolution to hit between 32 and 33. But you can always just type the value in that you want down here, and it will handle it. So don't worry if you put n as a large number and the graph disappears. It's just, it doesn't want to take too much time in drawing all those things. And that's all you do.